David DeRoche is an associate professor at the Near East South Asia Center at the National Defense University. He joins me now live from Chicago. David, good to see you. I'm just going to quote what I'm seeing on social media platform X, posted by advisor to Iran's Supreme Leader Shamkhani, where he basically says enriched materials remain intact. And now we are hearing reports that Iran is considering withdrawing from the NPT, the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. So it seems to me that Iran today, after these U.S. bombs were dropped on multiple nuclear facilities, is closer to making an actual nuclear weapon than before.
Well, what you have is a statement of intent of doing that. The question is how truthful are his statements. I mean, on this network and elsewhere, I had said that really a ground invasion would be the only thing that would give you certainty that you actually eliminated the nuclear stockpile. And if you bombed it from the air, statements like this and the Iranian desire to inject uncertainty are as predictable as gravity. So he may be telling the truth. He may be not telling the truth. But certainly the Iranian withdrawal from the IAEA or the Non-Proliferation Treaty, that was to be expected. Hopefully, that will be a decision with no consequence, because hopefully Iran no longer has the means to make a nuclear weapon, but we'll see.
Right, and David, right before the attack, when the bombs were dropped on the nuclear facilities, we saw images, satellite images of multiple trucks outside these facilities. And now there are some reports saying that the enriched uranium has been moved from facilities like Fordo. What do you make of these reports?
Yeah. Well, again, I don't know. You'd have to establish a pattern of life to see how many trucks was active. Usually Israel, which is very interested in this, has pretty good intelligence, and they'd be able to determine that. I mean, somebody has to drive these trucks, and the good thing about trying to track nuclear material is it emits radiation. So theoretically, you should be able to locate a normal level of radiation somewhere. But this is exactly the kind of uncertainty that you get if you choose to do an air operation. You don't know. You know that something went boom, but you don't know what you destroyed. You don't know how much of it you destroyed. You don't put as many of your own lives at risk, but the course of action that I thought was most prudent would to be what the Israelis did with the Iranian and Lebanese Hezbollah ballistic missile facility in Syria, where you establish an aerial cover. You don't let anything go in and out, and then you land troops, actually demolish the entranceways, go inside. Then you have certainty, but you put more of your own troops at risk. So the risk of potential loss of life versus the desire to achieve absolute certainty, they went on the prevent loss of life thing. But this uncertainty and creates an opportunity for Iranian leaders to, we don't know whether they're telling the truth or not. But if I were in their position, I would say we took everything out of this facility 3 weeks ago, and you just wasted your time.
But if you see the rhetoric coming from the Iranian leadership, I'm going to quote the Iranian president now. He says the U.S. must receive response to their aggression. So right now, I mean, this is what everyone is speculating. How is Iran going to respond to the U.S. bombing on Iranian soil? I mean, one of their options, this is something that, again, experts are saying could be doing what they did back when Qasem Soleimani was assassinated, bombing a U.S. base in Iraq. What do you make of these claims, and what do you feel what do you think an Iranian response might look like?
Yeah, so historically, when you look at how Iran responds, they don't respond directly, they respond asymmetrically. So in declining order of preference, it would be step up the nuclear program. They're doing that by threatening withdraw from the Non-Proliferation Treaty. Then it was direct their proxies to take action, overt action. So Lebanese Hezbollah is incapable of doing that. Syria, of course, is no longer an ally. So that leaves the Houthis are doing whatever they can, and they've said that the truce with the United States is over. They'll now attack American shipping. So there's a little bit of movement there. But the real point of vulnerability is in Iraq, where there are large armed militias paid by the Iraqi state that are loyal to Iran. And there's only 2,500 U.S. soldiers in both Syria and Iraq. So that's a position of vulnerability. I think we can expect attacks there. The next thing is to take hostages and they'll probably do that. And then finally, you have terrorism in other elements of the world, to include possibly the United States. And I think that lower level is really where we'll see action.
David DeRoche, it's always a pleasure talking to you. Thank you very much for joining me here on TRT World. I appreciate your taking out the time.